So, some of you know Toby, some of you have seen his work. It blows my mind what this man is creating. So, brace yourselves for what he's going to say. Some of it might be hard to sink in, but hopefully he will explain it as simple as possible so we can all grasp exactly what this man has. So I want to give you a massive round of applause, please, for Toby.
Okay.
Have you got the stick?
I've got it here.
Oh, good man, good man.
Carl, thank you very much. I feel the same way about Carl. As soon as I met Carl, I loved him. This guy's amazing. So thank you, Carl. So what are we working on? Well, put as simply as possible, we are building the world's most trusted and fair network. And what does that mean? That means private identity, communication and banking with trusted marketplace and value. Now, the thing is, we've got networks, but do we trust them? Most things out there, okay, we've got an identity out there, but where is this identity? It's on some database somewhere. So the question is, do we trust it? So it works two ways, trust. Now, really what we have to do is have something that is 100% decentralized. And that is actually what we're building. The world's first 100% decentralized trust layer. So that means my identity, or the information that holds my identity, is under my own personal control only. It's not on a database anywhere else. It's not on someone else's computer. It's only on my device. Now, that's the first thing about trust. Okay, and the world has sort of taken this for granted. The whole internet works like this. Just because our identity is on a database, we think, oh, that's okay. Yeah, but do we really trust that database? And the answer is no. It's quite easy to hack it. It's quite easy to steal your identity. It's quite easy to fake your identity. And this is the only way, in fact, we could beat all this. If we control our identity documents ourselves, they cannot be faked. So, okay, let me start at the beginning. What are we doing? So, ENTIFY, we are really building cryptographic network systems. So, we're building cryptographic technology. Now, what do you do with cryptography? With cryptography, of course, you protect things. You can also authenticate things. Once you've got something authenticated, you can use cryptography to keep that authentication protected. But interestingly, once you've got authentication and protection, then you could call that trust. And we could do this for anything. For example, just getting into a building. What we're building is like a key card system. Like a hotel room, you have a card, you touch the card to the door and you get in. However, what we're building is the highest level cryptography of a card and a door. So we've not seen this level of cryptography before. So that means we can authenticate very high level things, finances, high level artwork, anything, secure laboratories, whatever you want. But when you think about it, what is the most important thing that we really need to protect and authenticate out of everything in the world, for all of us, is going to be our identity. That is the most important thing, but none of us realise it or take it seriously. But that's what we're working on. So how do we secure our identity? Well, first of all, we have to secure it personally. So it's not on an external database. We have to have personal hardware that holds the identity and a personal key, a key card. So you can think of this as an identity card, but it's not really that, it's a key card. And once you've got a system of a card and a device, it's a two-way system. This is actually the highest cryptography we could have. There's no way to get in without touching the card. Now, some of you know about blockchain. In reality, what this is our identity documents will be stored in a blockchain wallet. So that is well established now as the most secure way of storing things. But blockchain wallet still requires keys to get in. So you type the key to get in, and that is a weakness. Your keys may be stored somewhere. If someone hacks your keys, then they can get into your wallet. So we've developed a system that the only way to get into the blockchain wallet is by the physical touch of a card. So a card touches to your phone or to another device that links to your computer. So there's literally no other way to get into this wallet except by this one card. So there's no way of hacking in. You can't type anything into any computer anywhere to get in. It must be the card that is held by you to touch the device to get into your secure wallet. And in that wallet would be your identity, but of course you can have all your finances, anything else you need in that wallet. Now the cryptography is so high, we call this post-quantum, which means even a quantum computer could not hack it. And what I'm talking about is the link between the card and the device. So again, the question may be, could you create a fake card and then touch the card, or could you intercept the signal between the card and the phone? There's no way of doing this. The cryptography is literally unbeatable. And that's one of the first things we will do once we've got a system up and running is issue a challenge, have a hackathon, and let's just see if anyone can break the system. They won't be able to. Because you cannot duplicate the card, once you've got the card, you're the only one that holds it and you're the only one that can touch the card. And you will need also still two-factor, a PIN code or a biometric or something else, as well as touching the card. So it's extremely high cryptography. So the first thing is the card. The second thing is the phone. So again, we're going to build our own cryptographic smartphone, and this is in process now. I'm hoping we're going to have something in the next 6 months or a year ready to go. But in reality, of course, you have a card and a phone. It's two things. So to be practical, what we will have is the phone that will act as a secondary device. So you could just use your phone like any other phone, but a touch of the phone would also give a certain amount of verification of your identity if you need it, or doing normal banking transactions. But for higher level security, you'll have to touch your card to the phone as well. So that gives higher level security. But this two-device system is really the strongest identity foundation ever created. Because it's not based on the internet, it's based on real physical hardware that you hold and you control. Now, okay, so the next level of this is again something new. Like I said, the card itself will need a PIN code or a biometric, but these are still quite limited. It's quite easy to break. Biometrics can be faked, PIN codes you can work out a way. But we developed a new form of biometric that I'm calling conscious biometric. So for example, it's your autograph. You sign an autograph on the phone. So it's a bit like a symbol unlock, but this has got to be done at a certain high level. You have to practice the autograph. So the a little AI on the phone will actually register how your hand moves. It'll be a unique conscious autograph that only you can do. It'll have to be a certain, complexity to it. You have to practice your autograph. But once you have got this, for the very, very highest level security, I mean, let's just say opening a vault, something serious. If the only way you can get in is to sign your autograph, as well as have your identity card touching, there's literally no way to break this. Because the main problem with all cryptography is coercion. What if someone has a gun to your head, open your phone, all right, press your thumb to it. Or in the movies, you've got this secret laboratory, I don't know, James Bond, they come, you've got to put your eyeball on it. But what do? They kill you, pull out your eyeball and put it on the thing. It won't work. It won't work for us. We're on a level beyond that. The only way is to sign your autograph. But because it recognizes your consciousness, if someone has a gun to your head, you won't be able to do it properly. So you won't actually get in. It's the first and only solution for anti-coercion cryptography. So for the very highest level of security, and I need to access a network, which would be a sovereign network, we would also have this conscious biometric autograph. But I'm sure, as Carl has told you, the autograph is very, very important in creating any sort of sovereign documentation. So we've combined now your autograph, a living conscious autograph, together with an identity, tied it all together with cryptography, and now what we've got, essentially what we will have is a sovereign identity that has been digitized and is under your control, and if necessary, it can only be accessed by signing an autograph. So this takes you way beyond passwords, fingerprints, or even facial scans, anything, way beyond it. Now, okay, there's two levels of identity. We've got KYC, so that's the normal one everyone knows, and of course what you know, the sovereign identity, what you're working on. But we can build, what we're going to build is several different levels to this network. So we could have a level that is just KYC. So that is a low level identity, but people know that, and we will need this to do certain things, to integrate with the world. For example, have a bank account, you must have a name and address. But what we could do is offer zero knowledge KYC, or zero knowledge identity. It means whatever the identity is stored in your little wallet on your device, you never actually reveal your identity. So this is a big problem that we have. You have to show your whole identity documents, put your name and address in, and now it's out there on the internet. And again, it's not that we're being criminals, but we don't trust the internet, and we shouldn't. But this way, you never reveal your name, your address, or anything, but you will reveal the cryptographic proof that you have got this. So for example, on our little phone, you could have your KYC documentation, name and address. But that's hidden away, only accessed by you. However, the touch of the phone or the touch of the card.
What's KYC?
Know your customer, know your customer, beg your pardon. Yeah. It means, for example, you go to a club and the bouncer says, are you over 21? You have to show your ID, photograph, name. We wouldn't have to do that. Essentially, you just show the cryptographic proof, are you over 21? And the answer would just be yes. But you don't know who I am or my photograph, anything about me. But it's only possible because the cryptography we have is so good that it's powerful enough to if that says yes, then it must be true, but it means it keeps you private. So this is what is called zero knowledge KYC. But higher level than that, of course, is the sovereign identity, which we'll come to a bit later as well. But as you know, the sovereign identity is self-created, self-owned, and self-controlled. KYC is just the way that the government wants to keep track of you, keep an idea of who you are. But either way, both are cryptographically protected. Where am I pointing this? Where's the computer? Over there.
Oh no, you just
Okay, all right, here we go. Sorry, guys. All right. Now, okay, let's explain this once more. What we've got is a system of, I've explained this key card. So we have a separation between a little card, a little microchip, and a device. So the simplest way of understanding is like that hotel room. You touch the key card to the door and you can get in. But what it is a link between the microchip on the card and another device. And we can use this, again, to actually now connect anything to the network. For example, the phone. The phone itself will also have a little device in there giving it an identity. So the phone itself will have its own little identity. You will have a card that connects to your identity, but the phone itself will have one. So for example, you will know that's me on the card, but you will also know that phone is one and only one phone, and it connects only to me. So that one phone is mine only. Anyone else uses that phone, it won't work because it must connect to my identity. But you can do this to anything. You have it on your car, for example. It means inside the car will have this digital tag, and the car will have its own little identity. So if you want to drive the car, only your phone would work. That is my car. The car will know who owns it. Only you'll be able to get in and drive the car. Anyone else, it won't work because they do not have the identity or the ownership of the car to prove it. And so this same system that creates your own little identity, we can use it for anything. Phones, documents, artwork, gold, vehicles, technology, anything. And once we build this network, it means we have a network of all things connected together, all identities, all assets, but they are completely private, completely decentralized, no way of anyone doing anything with them unless you are the registered, the actual recorded owner of them. And in the long run, this will also have even location. You will even be able to locate them. We'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so we're building a network. But what is the network? The network is communication. So let's start with that. Communication, what do we know? We know we've got mobile phones, we've got the internet, but there is another level of communication called radio mesh. Radio mesh. Do any of you know radio mesh already? So this is completely decentralized communication. And in fact, it's really this is the future, this is the way. What you see on the left here is like our mobile phones. They all go to a centralized location, you know, the mobile phone masts, and anyone in a central location can just turn off all your phones. What you have on the right here is the radio mesh. So this is literally like walkie-talkies. Your phones will just work between each other. So there's no central location. It's like Bluetooth. We used to have this. Do any of you remember that? We used to have Bluetooth messaging. Do any of you remember that? Yeah. So you could just do phone-to-phone messaging and it was free. This has taken this up to a whole nother level. So it's like Bluetooth messaging with all the phones, but a much, much higher level. So every single phone connects to each other in a mesh network. There's no centralized control, and if one phone goes down, it doesn't matter because the rest of the mesh picks it up. And each phone is connected to your identity, because we just said that the phone has an identity of itself. You have an identity in the card. Now I know that phone is mine because of my card, and that phone has a location because it's in the radio mesh. And the radio mesh is again like radio, so it knows where everything is. It can register distances between phones. There's an awful lot of stuff we could do with this. That's quite clever. But this is completely decentralized, uncontrollable, unstoppable communication, and it will be free because you just buy the phone, there's no contract, no nothing, and you just start talking to each other. Now, in the beginning, of course, we have to have a hybrid phone because for radio mesh to work, we need a certain amount of phones. There's a limited... Have any of you watched, what's that show called again? Stranger Things? Yes. Yeah, okay, brilliant. But they got all radio. Do you remember that? That is literally the system. They put a tag in something and they can follow the monster in their car driving along. They can register it. They can triangulate positioning. That is exactly the radio mesh. And they got these little massive walkie-talkies. They talk to each other. And that was free back in those days. I'd argue that's still better than what we've got now. But this essentially what we would have is that, but highly sophisticated. And it will, to all intents and purposes, you'll just be using your smartphone like any time, like now. Two-way conversation, you don't have to press over. It's continuous communication, continuous messaging. Okay, there's one other thing as well that's interesting about this, is once we've got this network going, because we've got recorded identities, we trust everyone in the network. We can also even have this as a security system. So if anyone is in trouble, there could be some alert that goes out, it goes into the mesh, and the nearest people know, I've got an alert, someone's in trouble, and people can come straight to your location. Now again, it's private. The way we have to play this is completely private, but in certain situations, it might reveal the location of someone in trouble, so you've got immediate security response. So we can do so much with this system in time. It will take time, but we've done the calculations. Say, for example, London, if we had, I don't know, 100 phones, maybe 500 phones throughout London, that would cover the whole of London. And then if we want to go a bit further north, what we would have is booster. We can have booster aerials. Again, private people can have them. Maybe you have a bigger computer with a little booster, an aerial on the top of your house, and that will extend the range of the mesh, and we can start spreading this much, much larger. But that again is free, decentralized, nobody controls it. So this is the way forward. Now, blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is a network, but it's a network that has extremely high level verification. So that's why we can do money on a blockchain. That's when blockchain started to change the world, because we got this algorithm that can guarantee everyone's finances. You know, there's no way of cheating a blockchain. So we need blockchain for financial level and identity level security. Now, the problem with blockchain is all blockchain runs on the internet. And so even though blockchain, like Bitcoin, they say is decentralized, but the internet itself is not decentralized. So if the internet goes down or a large stack of servers go down, the blockchain goes down. Now, what we plan to do is develop a whole new type of blockchain that runs on the radio mesh. Now, again, This would change the whole game. It means blockchain as it is now requires a complicated calculation to verify transactions. So most of you must know Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin mining. So it simulates gold, like you mine for gold and then you've got some value. But what it means is the computer has to do a lot of work just to prove a transaction. And that's a big waste of energy, and all blockchains suffer from this, and they get very slow and they cannot really handle large scale. There's no single blockchain that could handle the whole global economy in one go. But this one could, because instead of using calculations to verify transactions, we've actually got the radio mesh. I already know, so for example, you're there, you've got a proven identity and a proven phone, that's already done and dusted. All we need to do is verify one goes to you, one goes to you. It doesn't require any calculation. So we can develop a new type of blockchain that will be very simple, very lightweight. It could be globally scalable. You would have instant transactions. And what it means is, what that actually means is we don't have to rely on the internet anymore. So again, it's a big problem with blockchain. If you're relying on the internet goes down, all the finances collapse. Now, not only that, you see, this blockchain would keep track of the identities, the devices, the locations, and all the physical objects on the blockchain. So, for example, if your car, you know that car is yours, it's connected to your identity through your phone. Even the blockchain will know the location of your car. One and only one car. It would be impossible to steal it, impossible to hack it, because the only way through is through this identity through the blockchain. So we're calling this the proofless meshnet blockchain. All right, now, okay, this is where things get a bit new. So, does any of that make sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah. No. Yeah, okay, every time I do this talk, I don't quite know what I'm going to say, because every day this whole thing develops and changes. Even this morning changes. Okay, let's go back. Very simply, we're building a network. The network is of trusted identities, it's communication, and it's finance. And now we know it will also run through a radio mesh. So it's completely independent. It can run on the internet, it can run on the mobile phone, but ultimately we want it to run on this totally decentralized radio mesh. And now I've also said we can build a new type of blockchain that if this gets going, this new type of blockchain could cover the whole world without any problem. And it will be so lightweight, every single phone would have a backup. So even if you had two phones only, each phone would have a full backup of the blockchain database. So again, it's another big problem. For example, Bitcoin is a big database of transactions. So people can go back and look at the ledger, what's happened. But Bitcoin, I think, is, 200-300 gigabytes. So no one's got a backup of Bitcoin. Only a few people have got the full backup. This one would be so lightweight, every single one of us would have a full backup on our smartphone. It could be kilobytes, tiny amount. Because we don't have to do any calculations, it's just running a few numbers across. So we can all have a full backup of it. So now we've got this technology, well, we can create a new type of money, a cryptocurrency. Now this is where it gets interesting, because what is money? What is money? You think about it, all money is really just a token, even gold. I mean, what is gold? What is it really worth? If you think about it, let's go back. What is $1 worth? If I were to ask you guys, what is $1 worth? Would you know? Any of you had an idea?
Whatever you think it is.
Well, yeah, not. Well, I mean, people look at it like this. You say, well, $1 is worth maybe, let's say it's worth 95 pence. All right, but what's 95 pence worth? Well, that's worth 1.1 euros. All right, but what's 1.1 euros worth? Oh, that's worth about $1. So you're just going round and round in a circle. No one knows what it is. Even gold. Well, what's gold worth? It's still a token. We've sort of decided we like gold, so we think it's worth so much and we'll use it as money. But All of that is quite subjective, and we can't really all agree on it. Some people won't like gold. They will, I don't care about gold. So what we've tried to do is work out a new system of measuring value. And one thing that I think we will all agree on is life. Living, being alive is valuable. And I think anyone around the world will all agree, okay, human life, happiness, and life experience, that is worth something. And everyone in the world would agree. So we've developed a method of some mathematics that can create a measurement of value based on human well-being. Now, so this we can use to create a token. I'll tell you a little bit more in a second. But put this very simply, if we're building a blockchain, we're building a network, we've got a system of money, now means we've got a system of value to use for that money. And we're calling this the equity token, because the idea is it's about fairness and equalizing everything across the world. So we're calling this the equity token, and we can call this even the equity network in which this token is being used on. And what we do, okay, the mathematics creates something called the equity index. And this is an idea that gives a fair price for anything. We can value anything with this mathematics. I'll give you a few examples in a minute. But for example, we can value a country, we can value the dollar, we can value the pound, we can value a cryptocurrency, we could value any product, we could value a commodity, we can even value ourselves with this equation. Okay, don't worry too much. Just to give you, we built an app. Okay, I'm going to show you the app in a minute, so you can all have an actual look at the app and play around. It's called the Fair Price Oracle. But it's based on this idea of the equity index, a way of valuing all things in terms of human well-being. And this is the equation that took me a while to get, but now we've got this equation. And this can, even if you don't understand this equity index is a new, very serious financial metric. So economists have got all sorts of financial metrics, GDP, what do you call it, CPI, I forgot what you call it now, consumer price index. They've got all these different metrics, but it's based on the dollar, it's based on the pound, the euro, and none of it is stable. All of that is all over the place. For example, we've got in crypto, we've now got the stable coin. Everyone's trying to build a stable coin. Have you heard of a stable coin?
Yeah.
Yeah, a stable is basically the dollar. So the crypto stable coin is pegged to the dollar. So whatever the dollar does, the stable coin will follow. And it's very cheeky that they call it the stable coin, because the dollar is not stable. The dollar is just going down. So if you peg anything to it, it's all going down. So we created this equity index actually gives a stabilized value over a long period of time. So this equation allows us to create a real stable unit of value, which gives us a different perspective on the whole economy. And that gives us a chance to use our token, which will be stable. And for us, it means it changes the game, because in our little network, we can do transactions, share with each other, buy and sell things, and we know what they're worth and they don't change. We can't imagine what a stable economy would be like. But for example, if your house is worth, 1,000 tokens today, 30 years, 50 years from now, if nothing has changed, it would still be worth 30 tokens. But in today's economy, it'll be different. If it's worth $1,000 today, 10 years' time, it's going to be worth 100,000. Not because the house has changed, but because the dollar's gone down, so now there's more dollars are required for the value of the house. So, again, I won't bore you with this too long, but ever so simply, this equation, EI means the equity index, P is prosperity. That is the human well-being, our happiness. And there is data we can use for this, by the way, real-world data. There is a thing called the happiness report, global happiness report. So people have been collecting this data for years and years all over the world. How happy is everyone? So we use this data to give an idea how happy are people in each country. That gives you a good idea of what's really going on. Because you can have a rich country, a lot of corruption, and people are not happy. So we want to know what the people are really experiencing in the country to give a value for that country and hence that currency. So prosperity is all the good things, your health, your happiness, your spending power, your wealth, and your freedom. So there are metrics that give a rough idea of this. And then F is friction. So that's all the things that are working against us. So that is the poverty, inflation, corruption in the government. And again, we can find real world data that gives us an idea of this. And what's so clever about this equation is it's not so much we're giving a fixed idea, $1 is worth, I don't know what, you can't even say what it's worth. What we're talking about relative. This is more clearly defined. It's like, for me, I've got a certain amount of happiness making me go forward. But I've got a certain amount of drag pulling me back, struggle in life. So rather than trying to say what is happiness, I don't know what that is, or what is poverty, I don't know what that is, we can create an idea of what it is between the two. If you imagine yourself running in a swimming pool, this is fluid dynamics. So you've got resistance of the pool against you. Prosperity is you running, and then the friction is the drag. So we create this measurement that gives you the difference between the happiness and the struggle in any country. And this allows us to create the token. So that's why this is so clever. It's relative value rather than absolute value. Now, I may still have to work on how to explain this better. But this is the app. Okay, this is the app. So if you go to entify.world, the website, you can link to the app. And the app is called the Fair Price Oracle. And this allows you to find the price of anything. See, once you see that equation, we can apply it to all sorts of things. A product, any product. So on the app, you have a calculator. So say you see a computer for sale in the US, and it sells for $1,000. Well, in the app, it will tell you what it's really worth. You put in the seller's country and the value, $1,000, sold in the US. But you also have to put in the country where it was made. So probably made in China. So then you put the maker's country, China. Then it will adjust the price based on the country it's made and the country it's sold. So you actually see the real value of all things. It basically reveals the hidden corruption behind things. And now again, what we've got here, finally, we've actually got a price for it. So the equity token now in terms of dollars is 77 cents. So we actually can price anything. So this isn't a market price, it's a measurement. And the way we could say it is one equity token is 1 unit of net global prosperity after accounting for exploitation, inequality, and systemic friction worldwide. Again, let's read it very simply. Look, prices lie, inflation distorts them, exploitation hides inside them. But we built a universal measure of true value, the equity token. And this app, you can explore it. It's got all the data and all different examples of how you can value anything and how the token might work. But put again, very simply, it's a stable token. So the idea is if your money is held in the equity token, it will remain stable indefinitely. If you leave it in a dollar, it's going to collapse. We know that. Now, if you leave it in gold, of course, or property, we know that will tend to go up because the dollar is going down, but there's still everything else is volatile all over the place. And we've proven the equity token over the last 76 years, it's been stable. Because if it's the whole global average, if the whole of humanity is working for freedom and happiness, but we've all got different levels of corruption hitting us, that relative difference, some countries are different to other countries, but over the whole globe is quite stable. So the idea of this is a stable unit of value, and we can use this for a token to create a different financial system inside our network. So there are four levels to this network that we're building. And it's the last, final, fourth level is the one that you guys are going to be most interested in. The first level is this Oracle app that I just told you. It's a fair price Oracle. It's a free app that can just go out to the world. And I plan to hope this could go viral. but I have to learn how to explain it, because I'm judging by everyone here, I'm not sure I've done a good enough job. If we can explain this and it goes viral, everyone wants to know what everything is really worth, anyone can download this app, and now we start looking at everything in the world, we can rate countries, so there's a list of countries, which are the top, which are the bottom. What's happening is that goes out and everyone starts thinking about equity and fairness, and it starts revealing how fiat currencies are collapsing, all the instabilities. So that's just level one. People start looking at this. And what will happen is companies will come to us to be rated, because it's for products. So for example, an ethical company produces a product and they sell it, say, for $10. But if they get a very high rating from the Fair Price Oracle, what it says is, well, that's a very good product, you've done it very fairly. So in fact, it's worth a bit more than $10. So they could say, we're selling our product for $10, but really, based on the Fair Price Oracle, it's worth $15. Now, conversely, if you're a bad, unethical company, you're selling a product for $10, but it's all done with sweatshop labor and slavery somewhere else, well, that will factor in the value. That product is really only worth $5. It's worth less because you've destroyed human life to create it. That's the value we're looking at. So unethical companies, they won't want to know. But ethical companies, yes, they want to prove how good they are. So they get a rating on this Fair Price Oracle app, and we can even build a marketplace, and we start building up ethical companies. So that's the first level of the network, just open. The second level of the network will be, we have the token, the equity token. So again, we can release this as another cryptocurrency, in the crypto space. But again, not like anyone we've seen before. So that allows anyone to buy the token and start using this token as a medium of exchange, buying and selling things. But of course, we know the value because the value of it is given by the equity index, that little app. So that's level 2. Level 3 of the network, now is where we need identity. So far, anyone can do that. We don't care. Right now, Bitcoin, anyone could get some Bitcoin. I don't need your identity for that. But for level 3, we will have this private closed network. Level 3 will be just KYC. So that's your basic identity. So again, the average person in the street, they don't care about sovereign. They don't know what that means. But they can access more privacy, secure features in the network if they put their KYC name and address in there. For example, we can add on more financial privacy. So that's level 3. But then level 4 is even deeper. That's we need to add on the sovereign identity. It means for the sovereign identity, it's a deeper level trust. We've got to be able to trust everyone in the network so that we can do business with each other. But we need the level of trust for the communication and also for the blockchain. So if we have this level of trust, i.e. the sovereign identities in a network, these are the sort of things that we're going to be able to provide. So I'm calling this the equity network just because it's got the equity token, but really it's going to be for the sovereign guild or the sovereign network. Because at the moment, the sovereign guild, the sovereign network, you guys are the only ones actually creating this sovereign identity, which gives you lawful standing. And if you remember, the system is an identity for you, but it's an identity for anything. So your car will have an identity, your house will have an identity. Now, the problem is, as you know, your house is not your house. Your car is not your car. So we cannot give your house an identity really until it is your house. It must be your house with full allodial title. I'm assuming you guys know about that? Yes. So in fact, you see, a normal person can't do that because they don't have allodial title to their house. But if you had full allodial title to your house, you had the full sovereign identity, and you were in this network, what you could do is essentially tokenize your house. So it's a bit like a mortgage. You know, you take a mortgage out to release some capital when you spend the money, but the house has now gone to the bank again. In the network, the house will have its own identity. You will have the identity. It'll be your house connected to your identity, but it will release the value of the house as tokens, and you can spend them. inside the network. So it's not a loan. This is literally your house and your money created for you, but it will only work inside this private network of identities between everyone who has got a allodial title of their stuff. So that's why it would only work for the sovereign guild. But more than that, it would also be able to provide you with free insurance. Again, this is quite deep. This goes together with the token, because you need to have a stable value within the network. If you tokenize your house and you create money from that house, the tokens are essentially backed up by the real house. So if your real house burnt down, those tokens are still being spent out and about, but there's no house backing them up. So now what you've got is deflation. So the network itself would pay to have your house rebuilt for you, so that the tokens in circulation will still have backing. So what this means is, to all intents and purposes, anyone in the network, if you tokenize your property, you will have free insurance. But it's not so much for you, it's for the whole network. So these are the benefits of the inside network system. Again, inside this sovereign network, you'd have network investment opportunities. We would have a global trusted marketplace. Again, imagine a network, it's private, we've all got totally private communication, we're connected through our own internet. Everyone on the network has got a sovereign identity, so whoever you talk to, I may have never met you before, you're on the other side of the world, but I know because you're in this network, it's really someone, and you've really got an identity, and I can trust you, so we could do business with anyone, anywhere in the world, with absolute trust and safety. Now, again, furthermore, private banking. Okay, this is perhaps the most exciting one, private banking. We can also provide for the network, we can take us back to cash. All right, we ought to be able to understand this, cash. So the old days, cash, is pretty much untraceable. But now we've got CBDCs, government digital money. And that will go to your government digital ID, which will be connected to you so they can track you through your money. However, remember, in our network, our identity has been removed, taken away. So we don't have an identity connected to the government. This is completely separate. And what we can have inside our identity is our own little pocket of, essentially, we can create our own cash inside, and I mean pounds, euros, that we can spend anywhere. Essentially just like cash, but it's not traceable to you. In other words, the whole system itself, okay, we go to the next bit. Let me take the next bit here. Okay, let me explain this one thing to you, because maybe this is the most exciting thing. The way we have to build this network is we have to create a company. And this company is not quite a normal company, as you know, a limited company. He's a director, a secretary. We can create something called a DAO. It's called a decentralized autonomous organization. So that means we can create a group of us, but inside the group, we're all anonymous. No one knows us, but that group itself is a company. And that company can have a bank account with the bank, just like normal. So the company, the ENTIFY DAO LLC, could have a bank account, a normal bank account dealing in pounds, dollars, whatever, and that, of course, will be traceable to the company. But all of us inside the network, we will have our own wallet, our own phone, with our own pounds, euros, whatever we want on there, but they are not going directly to the bank, they are inside the DAO. So inside the little network, we have our own little private transactions going on, but outside the network as a whole has a bank account with the external bank. So to all intents and purposes, if you go and buy something in the supermarket, you take your phone just like anyone else, touch your private, banking app to the sales, buy £10. The supermarket will just see on payment on their receipt will be ENTIFY DAO LLC. They won't see your name. So it won't be me, Toby. You won't see Toby's bank account. It'll be like you have a company bank account. You've been given the company card and you can spend the company money. So wherever you want to go, you spend the company money, but they don't know it's you. It's now ENTIFY Limited. So for all of us inside, we can spend money, but to all intents and purposes, not us. We're all part of the company, Therefore, we're spending the company money. And it's all done with the blockchain. So, for example, our money goes in and it will turn up on our wallet as our own personal money. So it's completely blockchain secured. We will know exactly what we have. But when you go to the shop and pay with your money, instead of it coming straight from your account, blockchain will go to ENTIFY, and ENTIFY will pay the company through their bank account. So, to sum it up, it means CBDCs just won't affect you. You don't even worry about it because you don't have a CBDC. The ENTIFY DAO Limited has the CBDC bank account. It doesn't even matter. You have got an internal account with ENTIFY DAO Limited. That's completely private. So to sum it all up, we have completely private finances inside. No bank ever knows who you are. No need to. So that's okay, that should be simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The only one last way I'll describe that is digital cash vouchers. That's another way I can understand it. Because ENTIFY DAO Limited has got a bank account, we can sell you a voucher for cash. So we sell you a £10 voucher, and it's a crypto voucher. When you go to the shop, you spend your voucher, but it's not really you spending money, you're redeeming your voucher with ENTIFY Limited. ENTIFY Limited then redeems the voucher directly to the shop from their bank account. So this is how we can do it. But this can only be done in the high level, highly trusted internal network. Now, okay, summarize this. There's a lot of technology going on here. And so many new things. All of these things really are, could be patented. So we've got conscious biometric cryptography, the affidavit identity system. Now again, that is the sovereign identity, which we have to create this lawful standing documentation of yourself. But that identity document now is tied to your conscious biometric autograph and turned into cryptography. So that in itself is a system. So not only now do you have your paper document has turned into a digital cryptographic item. Then you have the ENTICARD and ENTIPHONE architecture, this two-device system that creates very, very highest level security. Proofless meshnet blockchain, a brand new thing all by itself. That all alone could change the whole crypto space. Because this is like Bitcoin all over again. When Bitcoin started, everyone's excited. This is a new money. It's going to be fair and square. None of it happened. Now we've got 50,000 different blockchains. None of them really going to doing it. Proofless meshnet blockchain is really like scrap all that and we start all over again. So it's like Bitcoin again from the beginning, but with all the problems solved. Then we've got the anti-coercion and personal protection system. Again, if your final level, highest level cryptography is you must write your autograph. You see, for example, you wanted to get in a high level vault, you touch your card, or you touch your phone rather, and then the phone will say, apply your autograph. Then you must do your autograph onto the phone, and touch it again. But if your gun's to your head, you won't be able to do the autograph. Again, it might send out a silent alert. So many things could happen there. And then you've got the physical asset security, because you can connect your car, your house, your phone, your computer. Everything can be connected with this little digital tag giving an identity. Everything becomes impossible to steal and impossible to hack. If you had this on your laptop, again, we'll build laptops in time, you cannot hack the laptop. At the moment, anyone's laptop can be hacked. This will not be unhackable. And finally, the abundance economy mechanisms. That's what I was talking about, the equity index and this equity token, a new way of valuing things, giving a fair, stable value. And if that takes off, it's very, very interesting. It changes the whole incentive. The equity index means for the value of money to go up, human well-being must go up. If human well-being goes down, the money goes down. So companies and countries, if they want to get more money for their people, they actually have to make it better. If they make it worse, it goes down. All companies, they'll have to make things better if they want their products to go up in value. So it now changes everyone's incentive. We know that. The whole world is greedy and corrupt. That's the whole problem we got now. Money is separate from us, and it's all about money and don't care about us. I'm trying to bring the two back together. The only way for your money to go up is for us to go up. So it changes the whole incentive of economics, and if we can do that, then that builds a different economy, abundant economy. And that's it. That's the website. Fine.